What up, guys? So in this video, I want to talk about why you shouldn't fear sunlight. I'm so tired of everyone you speak to having the opinion yet that sunlight is dangerous and that it's something to avoid. I just read like a news article, something like that came up on goddamn Facebook, where like some news outlet was talking about up your sunscreen, go from SPF 30 to SPF 50, and like people in the comments were like, yeah, sunlight causes cancer and blah 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 blah. Everyone is so goddamn, sorry for the term, like brain dead, because like the first thing is like just use your goddamn brain, just use your common sense for one second. Like, do you really think that sunlight, the thing responsible for all life on earth, is suddenly killing you and is suddenly dangerous for you? Like, you can literally go back in time, like in the 1800s, like no one got skin cancer pretty much up until like the 1950s, when we started using sunscreen. Coincidentally enough, if that's the word you use, that's when everybody started getting sunscreen or sun cancer, skin cancer. I'm sorry, I fucked up. But yeah. So basically, what I'm trying to say in this video is that sunlight isn't bad, and the reason it isn't bad, or maybe I should back up and just, the reason that people like doctors, dermatologists, mainstream media, the government, all that stuff says that sunlight is dangerous is just based on this whole thing that sunlight contains UV light, and UV light has been shown to cause skin cancer, DNA damage, all that shit. But the reason why you can't compare just UV light in isolation, that's been done in like studies in laboratories where they expose like rats and mouse to UV light, and then compare that to sunlight, is because sunlight isn't just UV light. It's like saying fruit is unhealthy for you because it contains sugar, and processed sugar has been shown to have negative health effects. But like, you can't compare that, and when you actually look at fruit in its entirety, you see a whole different picture. You see it's healthy, it protects against disease, makes you live longer, all that stuff. And it's basically the same thing with sunlight. When you actually look at sunlight in its entirety, the studies show that the more sunlight you get, the longer you live. I'm gonna put up a goddamn, the Swedish melanoma cohort study, whatever. You can see it right here. And this is basically a study that was done over like 20, 30 years, something. You can go look, you can go read it yourself. Where they followed like 30,000 women in Sweden and then categorized them in low sunlight exposure, medium sunlight exposure, and high sunlight exposure. And what they basically found was the more sunlight you get, the longer you live. And this study, similar studies have been done with even more people, and they find the same thing. Like, every study that looks at sunlight in its entirety finds that the more sunlight you get, the longer you live. So there's really no reason to fear sunlight and believe goddamn government and dermatologists freaking lies that are literally just made to make money for them. Like, these big conglomerates selling these shitty chemical-filled sunscreens. It's like a giant industry. They make so much money. Like, follow the money and you see where all this shit comes from. Like, nobody had skin cancer before the 1950s, when we started wearing sunscreen a lot. And basically, like, what actually causes skin cancer is our shitty modern lifestyle. So it's not getting sunlight that causes skin cancer. Every single animal on this earth, literally, or probably not every single, and there's probably night animals that don't really get sun. You know what I'm saying? Like, pretty much every single animal wants to be outside, wants to be in the sun. It feels good on your skin. There's a reason why your body literally makes beta. This fucking plane is. Like, there's a reason why your body makes beta endorphins, these feel good hormone chemical things in your body when you get sunlight on your skin. It's literally to signal to your brain, your monkey brain, that, ooh, this feels good, maybe I should get more of this. There's a reason for this, because literally when you get sunlight, you get all these amazing benefits. Obviously, vitamin D production, which is crucial for your health. So many people think that, I don't need sunlight to get vitamin D, I'll just take a chemical, shitty, synthetic vitamin D pill and then I'm good to go. Like, you really think that some pill, or what the fuck is these droplet things, liquid thing made from, I don't even know what they make this vitamin D from, wool skin, sheep's skin, or sheep's wool, or something like that, I've heard. You really think that some supplement made in China or wherever is gonna be as good for you as just getting actual sunlight? Like, just once again, like, use your brain for just a second here. And also, like, when you get natural sunlight, there's no risk of like getting too much vitamin D, because your body has these methods to prevent over what's the word, like overproducing vitamin D. You don't get that when you take a supplement. So like there's so many people out there on social media like preaching just take like goddamn 10,000 IUs of 40,000, 100,000, like I don't know all these like measurement things, but like preaching that you should just take so much vitamin D without even getting their blood work done, seeing if they can even handle it. So when you take it orally, you have much higher risk of, or you have a risk compared to getting actual sunlight of like, literally getting too much vitamin D, because there's these different pathways in the body that, prevent, what the fuck am I saying, like getting too much vitamin D. Like I'm yapping on about here. Need to stick to the goddamn schedule what I was going to talk about. But yeah, that's like the first reason that sunlight feels good, because you get vitamin D, which is crucial for overall health, like hormone health, sleep, all that stuff. It's amazing for. Obviously, you also get nitric oxide production when you get UVB light on your skin, which you block if you use a shitty sunscreen, which is really important. Nitric oxide, is that what I said? Nitric oxide, is a vasodilator, which means it expands your blood vessels, which lowers your blood pressure. If you have high blood pressure, it improves your cardiovascular health, and just makes you able to get nutrients around your body better, because you have better blood flow, and your blood vessels are literally like dilated, they're bigger. So you can read up on that. It's really important, and that's really great for your health, which you get from getting sunlight. Then there's also, what did I say? Yeah, the beta endorphins, I talked about that, literally make you feel good. So, if sunlight was suddenly this dangerous thing that you should stay away from, don't you think that your body, or, like humans, and just other animals in general, would have developed some kind of mechanism to make it feel bad? So, like, like, reinforce that sunlight is bad, if it actually was that, and that you literally feel bad if you got sunlight, to reinforce that you should stay out of it, is what I'm trying to say. But you don't do that. Also, you set your circadian rhythm when you get sunlight, which is extremely important for sleep, and we all know how important sleep is for everything. I don't have to sit here and talk about the benefits of sleep. We all know sleep is really important for overall health, muscle building, recovery, just brain health, all that stuff. And you set your circadian rhythm the best by actually getting sunlight in your eyes, especially morning sunlight. You've probably heard Andrew Huberman and goddamn everyone talking about morning sunlight nowadays. Fuck, I'm literally running out of breath just talking about this. I don't know why I'm shitty shape. But yeah, you set your circadian rhythm when you get sunlight. Light is like the biggest influence on your circadian rhythm, and you need to get bright light in your eyes to actually set your circadian rhythm. When you're inside, it doesn't feel like it's not that bright, but if you actually take like a lux meter, you measure the light intensity, you'll see that outside light is like 100 to like 1,000 times brighter than indoor lighting, even though it doesn't really feel like it when you're inside, because your eyes adjust, and it feels kind of like, yeah, it's just a normal kind of light intensity, whatever you want to say, but it's so much brighter outside, and you need that really bright light to anchor in your circadian rhythm until your body, your suprachiasmatic nucleus, which signals every goddamn cell in your body to all these processes that need to be going on, they get synced to the 24-hour day and night cycle, which you get from getting sunlight and anchoring in that day and night cycle. You don't get that from taking some synthetic vitamin D supplement and just sitting inside all day because you believe sunlight is dangerous. Like, goddamn, get that into your head. It just annoys me so much that people think that. So I want to touch on, I hope I have convinced you just a little bit that sunlight is great, and that you shouldn't fear sunlight, you shouldn't cover up with sunscreen every time you go outside. So then you might be wondering, well, if sunlight is so good for you, what actually causes skin cancer? And like I touched on earlier, I think I said it, it was like, it's this modern environment and just our lifestyles in the 21st century. So basically, we're sitting inside all day. There's a reason why this is bad. Inside light doesn't have infrared light, or that's a totally different thing that I forgot to mention. Infrared light from the sun. The sun is about 50% infrared light. So yeah, light coming from the sun, UV light, different spectrums of that. Obviously, the visible light, so all the colors that you can see, blue, green, red, yellow, all that stuff. And then you have infrared light. So that's about 50% of the light. Infrared light is extremely important for a lot of different processes in your body. But one of the most important things is that when infrared light hits your skin, it stimulates melatonin. And yeah, you might think melatonin, isn't that a sleep hormone? And yes, that's while it's true when it's in the brain, released from the pineal gland, I think it is, important for, regulating like wake, sleep cycles, all that stuff. But when you actually get infrared light on your skin and you stimulate melatonin that way, it acts as a potent antioxidant, which means that it protects against reactive oxygen species, which, are these like free goddamn electrons that bump into all these goddamn things in your like cells and molecules and all that stuff. I'm not a goddamn scientist, but basically it messes up your body. It causes oxidative stress, inflammation, all that. But when you actually get these antioxidants from melatonin, you literally protect yourself against that. And that's also one of the reasons why sunlight is so great for you, even though it contains UV light, because this infrared light kind of balances out the negative effects that you might be getting from UV light, which is also why like UV light in isolation might be bad for you. What did I want to touch on? That brings you back to like why indoor lighting is so bad for you, and that's basically because when you're inside, you don't get any infrared light. So that through these windows, like there's coming pretty much all infrared light, and these longer wavelengths of light, they get filtered out because we want to have these energy efficient houses. We want to keep the warmth inside. So infrared light is like that's like kind of heat. So you don't want that to get in and out because then our houses aren't energy efficient and all that. So it gets filtered out, and then what gets through is these shorter wavelengths of light, which just like UV light, blue light also causes DNA damage, can mess up your skin. Gonna put up a study here. I'm also gonna be writing an article on Substack, which you can read with more in-depth stuff on this if you're interested. But basically, we get these shorter wavelengths of light when we're sitting inside that damage our skin, cause skin cancer, all that stuff, which is really bad for us. And another thing, like indoor lighting, is LED lights, again, because we want to be energy efficient. We first invented like the incandescent bulb, which I'm rocking in the house because that space, they're much better than LED lights. But yeah, LED lights are basically this just isolated blue light. I'm gonna put up a picture again of like the spectrum of LED lights so you can see how much blue light is in these LED bulbs, and how there's literally no infrared light because you can't see infrared light, so they aren't energy efficient in terms of how much light they actually produce. So they have to use these shorter wavelengths of light, which are just damaging to your body and cause these reactive oxygen species, which then don't get balanced out by the melatonin antioxidants in your skin, because obviously you don't get any infrared light. Oh my god. So yeah, basically this modern lifestyle of just sitting inside, getting bombarded with like blue light all day. You don't get any infrared light because you're never outside because you think the sun is dangerous. And then coupled with, us humans like going to vacation in like a very high UV environment after we've been sitting inside the whole winter, the whole spring, pretty much the entire summertime. And then we go down to the equator and get out in the sun, and then we wonder why we burn. So if you actually don't want to get sunburn, because obviously sunburn is bad for you, you got to do these things. First of all, cut out seed oils. Seed oils, they're highly oxidized. They cause, they make it just a lot easier to burn when you get sunlight. So you don't want to get that. Want to cut out seed oils from your diet. Eat more saturated fat. Obviously, don't like overeat saturated fat. Don't go like carnivore, all this stupid shit. But yeah, prioritize these saturated fats in your diet over PUFAs, polyunsaturated fats, primarily from seed oils. Then build your solar callus. This is probably the most important thing. Our ancestors, they were outside every single day from winter to summertime, and they were gradually building up their, exposure time to the sun. So as the sun comes high in the sky in the summertime, because that's how it works, your body is adapting to this higher amount of UV light by producing melanin in your skin, the thing that makes your skin darker, that gives you a tan. that is also something that protects against UV light. So yeah, that's really important when you actually get sun exposure, is that you actually start early in the year. So like in the winter time, in spring, go outside and get some sunlight every single day. Build up your melanin so that when summertime comes around and there's like high UV, you're ready for it and you aren't gonna burn if you don't use sunscreen. Another thing is, don't use sunglasses. Sunglasses block, the light that comes to your eyes, and your eyes are like a really important like messenger for signaling to your body like how intense the sunlight is outside, which then tells your skin like how much melanin to produce. So when you wear sunglasses, it's basically like telling your body that, oh, the sun is not very bright today, it's overcast, there's not really any reason to protect our skin because there's not much UV. So you basically send these mixed signals, and then it makes it a lot easier to burn. Another thing is, get morning sunlight and evening sunlight. So morning sunlight and evening sunlight, they are higher in proportion to the other like light spectrums. They are higher in these longer healing wavelengths, so red and infrared. So when you actually get out early in the morning at sunrise and you get sunlight on your skin, it's kind of like you're preconditioning your body to get ready to this higher UV light. So you're building up these antioxidants, this melatonin in your skin that can then help heal this higher UV that you're gonna get at midday. And the same thing with what's it called, sunset, when you're outside late in the day. Again, the UV is low. There's more red and infrared light, which then heals you, makes you ready for the sun again the next day. So basically, like, you just want to live how your ancestors lived. You want to get sunlight the most natural way, like be outside pretty much all day as much as you can, getting all these different light spectrums, wavelengths, and that's basically how you do it. Yeah. Also, if you look at animals in the wild, like lions, for example, on the goddamn savannah, they I'm yapping so much in this video. It's pretty fucking shit. I'm sorry, but like they stay out of the sun in like peak UV hours. So you see them, they just under a tree, up in a tree from like 12 to 2 when the UV is high. Just use your intuition. And then if you get hot, you feel like, oh my god, it's too much sun. Go in the shade and then come out when the UV is lower and when you get more infrared light. Because obviously there's like a spectrum to it. You don't want to just get crazy amounts of sunlight. For example, if you live in a unappropriate environment for like your skin type, because obviously we humans, like, we're all over the freaking globe, and we're not living where we're supposed to, some of us, because of our skin color, where we're living, all that stuff. So yeah, what was I talking about? Yeah, like stay out of the sun in those peak UV hours if you want to. Like Aristotle says, there's like this golden middle way that you don't want to get too little sunlight, that is bad for you, but you also don't want to get way too much sunlight. I think it's really hard to get way too much sunlight unless you're really like living near the equator. Like I'm living in Denmark, the UV is only like 7 in like a peak summer day. That's the highest it's ever gonna get. So that's really not enough. In those type of countries, you just want to get as much sunlight as possible, build your vitamin D stores for the winter time. But like if you live, you're pale skinned, you live near the equator, yeah, obviously it might be a good idea to stay out of the sun in those peak UV hours sometimes, to just not get all that oxidative stress that you might be getting from UV light. But yeah, just use your intuition, stay in the shade sometimes. But sunlight is great for you. Don't listen to these governments, goddamn dermatologists, all these big companies. They literally just want to sell you a shitty sunscreen. And that's another thing that actually causes cancer, is these shitty goddamn sunscreens, which are filled with chemicals that we know cause skin cancer. Like, it's literally so stupid. The thing you put on to protect yourself from skin cancer is actually one of the things that's causing skin cancer. It's stupid. And obviously you block out all the amazing benefits from the sun as well when you put sunscreen on. So yeah, that's enough for this yap session. What I basically want to say is, get some more sunlight. Get as much sunlight as you can, pretty much. Don't fear the sun. Use your goddamn common sense. And yeah, go out there, get some sunlight. It's great for you.